back to my story and validation. I was saying something about my buddy and how I was talking to my buddy, and he said to me, he goes, "You're looking for validation from my buddy." And he goes, "And here's the truth. He's not going to give you validation, and I'm not going to give you validation. Deal with that." Straight up. And it was just like, yeah, I was looking for my buddy to validate what I was saying and my feelings and what I was wanting and my frustrations. And my buddy was not validating my feelings, and it pissed me off, and it kind of hurt my feelings because it was like, I wanted comfort and a pat on the back, or, you know, good job, or that's terrible, or hang in there, you know, kind of thing. And it was one of those, I wasn't getting it. And Patrick was just so to the point with me in our session, which is, you're not going to get it from that person. I'm not going to ever validate your feelings. You have to be able to validate what you're feeling in the moment is real and true for you, period. And stop looking out. These are my words now, not his. I needed to stop looking outside of myself for someone to validate who and what I am and what I'm doing and how I'm feeling. And today that actually came up. You know, we said this, you know, earlier this morning. It's like validation's been something that's been coming up with me in the last week. Was, why am I looking outside of myself for someone to validate my truth? What I know to be real for me. And we had talked a little bit ago, you and I, Tabby, about how I had gotten a message concerning a relationship that I was in a couple of years ago. And when I shared that with someone, and I said, you know, this is the situation that's going on in the relationship, this person went, "Oh no, that's not true." And it was like, I wanted to defend that. I wanted to argue that. I wanted this person to realize, no, it is the truth. And I wanted to get that point across. And when it wasn't happening, and it repeated itself, that conversation throughout the last couple of years, repeated itself. And each time I never got the validation. So this morning, I literally said to my buddy, I said, I know I'm not supposed to be looking to you for validation, which basically means I should not care if you agree with me, disagree with me. I should not be looking to you to make me feel better. Mm-hmm. And he said to me, he goes, "Whoa, no, not necessarily." And I go, "No, actually, I need to be looking in here. It should not, my self-esteem, my self-worth, what I know to be true for me should not be based on whether or not you agree with me." So validation is something that's been coming up.
That's it's powerful. Yeah, no, that was beautiful. Thank you for sharing. You know, validation is a hard one. It's a tricky one too, to catch yourself doing it. I've been working on it myself. I've had a couple experiences within the last 5 days. Hell, I had an experience this morning, and I caught myself validating a decision I had already decided that I had set in stone because it's healthy for me. And I was sitting there trying to like validate a reason why I didn't have to stick to that decision. And I caught myself and I was like, no, can't do that. And I found that this is actually something I've had to work on, and I am actually still working on, to be honest with you, is that validation from other people. When I was married to my ex-wife, man, I always try to find her validation. You know, I always tried to find her to understand my feelings. I didn't understand that I needed to understand my feelings, you know? And so once I learned that that is how it's supposed to go, that you have to understand your feelings. You have to understand those behaviors in that process. And I mean, you're going to be walking around and along, and you're going to get some in your face, something random throughout your day, and you're going to find you're validating to go a different way than your truth. It's part of your ego, right? Would you say that would be part of your ego, keeping you from growing a little bit?
I don't know, because I've been thinking about it, with my buddy this morning. I said to him, I actually do, whether this is right or wrong,
Nothing's
I'm
right,
going,
right?
I'm going to put it out there. I literally do care about what you think. I do care about your opinion. I do care about your feelings when I'm sharing something. Now, is that right or is that wrong? And the bottom line is, it's out of respect for our relationship and our friendship and the bond that we've had, and we've known each other for so long and for years, and we're confidants. But if it's going to make me question myself, then that's when I think that's wrong for me.
Yeah.
It's like, I would like it, Tabby, if you can relate to what I'm saying. I would like it if you can understand what I'm saying. But if you don't, and it causes me to go in this direction instead of the path I'm on, or it causes me to doubt myself, then validation and looking for that from outside myself, to me, that is harmful.
Yeah, that's super harmful. And
that is a part of the ego where I am doubting myself. That's where I do think ego has something to do with that.
Yeah,
self-esteem.
For me, I know it's one of the dragons, heads of the ego that I got to chop off. I mean, for me, I saw it after I got divorced. It's no fault of my ex-wife. She processes things differently than I do, and that's okay. But I always wanted her to understand where I was coming from and comfort me and do what I was doing on the opposite end, where I did hear her, initially when things were good, I did hear her, but then she would always feel like I didn't hear her. And then, so it just got really confusing. But anyway, but my biggest growth was that I had to realize that even in a relationship, I always wanted my partner's validation to what I was doing, or making sure that it was okay with them. And I had to learn after that. I learned a lot from my first marriage, and I had to learn that I don't need that validation from anybody anymore. But you know what? Here's the hard part: is you actually got to find out who you are. So if you don't even know who you are and how to control your emotions and go through all that fun stuff first, like you're gonna get stuck in a loop. And even after you do,
true. That is true. I mean, there's levels. On this case, I don't think you just wake up one day and go, to hell with it, I don't need anybody to validate my feelings, and just boom, you're there. No, I think it's a journey. That's a journey.
Well, yeah, it was like Hitunai Sensitunai, Reiki teaching, be kind to others. Like that's my first thing in life that I've always understood is to be giving to others. And that's also my fault. Like I would give, and before I would give too much. Now I'm learning how to say, okay, this is my end point. And I've realized when I lose my temper on somebody, I'm past my end point. Now I know how long it takes me to get angry at somebody, And so now I kind of pull myself back and be like, what happened before then? And there's a pattern there, there's a behavior, there's an allowance of exchange of energy that wasn't okay, and that growth and understanding what that looks like, it's okay, it sucks because you do meet, when you're looking for validation from those people that you care about and that you love, it's sometimes hard to disconnect yourself from them because you do love that person for who they are. And even though it's not the right timing and stuff, you just gotta pull it apart. It's just healthier that way. It's healthier for both of you until the other person or both of you can figure out how you're supposed to grow from that situation. But there should always be growth. Always try to learn. At least that's what I try to do as best as I can. I'm human. I know I don't look human, but I'm human.
You're too funny.